So I'm joined here with Meg Roundell-Green, and we've got like a real little treat for you. This is like a tiny little micro teach, but it's going to be packed with mega value for you if you are sitting there thinking about getting some content out there, maybe producing a lovely lead magnet for your clients. You're thinking about doing something that's highly valuable, and then your brain insert all the reasons why you can't get this done. Like, what's the point? No one's going to watch it. No one's going to come to it. What if this? What if that? What if it's not good enough? How do I know if it's good enough? And yeah, I thought it'd be really good to get your insight, Meg, on why that happens, what we can do instead, and like some actions that we can go and take instead of keeping all our really good insight to ourselves, instead of giving it to our audience.
Yeah, perfect. So, firstly, what I would like to say is that don't expect yourself to be feeling good in order to take action. What we tend to do is say, oh, I can't possibly write this content. I can't possibly do this because I'm not in the right mindset. So then you put a limit on yourself of what you can do. You only allow yourself to produce or create when you're in the mood. This
Yeah,
is the worst possible thing you can do for your business, because how often are you truly in the mood to go and create stuff? Maybe once a week. That's not enough. So just come to terms with, I'm going to feel bad and do it anyway. That's
love it.
normal. That's
Fantastic.
normal. Feel bad, do it anyway. The reason why we don't, as humans, want to do this is because we don't like feeling certain things. We don't like feeling rejection. We don't like feeling unliked. We don't like feeling vulnerable or exposed. So just know that it's completely normal and you can take the action whilst you're feeling all of those things and get it done. That's fine. So don't expect yourself to be feeling good in order to take the action. Don't spend time trying to make yourself feel good before you take the action. Just
Yeah, I
take
love
the
that.
action whilst feeling bad, because what actually happens is that when you take the action, it stops you from feeling bad anyway.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I think you've said this to me before. It was quite a cutting kind of comment, but I was like, I'm really tired and poor me, and like this is happening. And I think you said to me before, great, can you just do it anyway?
So mean.
Can you be tired and go and do that thing? And I'm like, well, I
Yeah.
guess I can. And you're like, great, go and do it then. And then off the back of that, I got opportunities for the business, but I was energized. So like
Mm,
because again, I did the thing, and
mm,
I think as well, you end up learning how to grow in capacity. Like at the moment, this
yeah.
stuff is really hard, but in 6 months' time, if you keep doing it as it's hard and you don't want to do it, suddenly you can do all this stuff and quicker and easier, and it doesn't feel as weighty and heavy to get that sort of stuff done. So you are going to grow in your capacity as well.
Yeah, totally. And another thing that can stop you is actually just spending time being confused about what to do. If
Yeah.
you don't have an actual, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and your brain loves to stay confused. So whenever you say to yourself, I'm confused, just know that you are making a decision to stay confused, because you could very easily make a decision to do anything. You could
Hmm.
just be like, okay, what's the next best step? I'm going to try this, and then go and do that. So whenever you find yourself telling yourself it's really confusing, I don't know which one to do, just recognize it for what it is. It's basically fear of taking action. It's not because you're confused. So a good question can be, if I wasn't confused, what would I do? Sounds really weird, but it's just like asking your brain questions in different ways helps you see it in different ways, if that makes sense. So it's like, if I
Yeah.
wasn't confused, what would be the next best step?
Love it. Love it. I have actually used that question quite a bit. And the next step was the thing that was like, no, no, it can't be that. It's too simple. No, it's got to be like a bigger step. And actually, sometimes we want to take these mammoth steps. And actually, the very first thing to out of this confusion is to just do that micro baby step. You just go and do
Yeah.
that. And it's the catalyst of getting everything started.
Yeah.
I think another thing in relation to that is that it feels like, and I know I've said this to you a lot, I feel like it's not enough. Like I feel like it's not good enough, or I feel like there's a better way to do this, or like a right and wrong way to do it. And whenever I feel like, no, 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 it can't be that, that's not good enough, I have to do something else, I notice I stop.
Yeah,
Like that
of
is like
course.
it just takes me out of doing any action, forward
Yeah.
thinking, forward taking. And that sucks because I'm an action taker.
Yeah.
Like for
Our
me, I
brains are
try
so
not to
our
do that.
brains are so clever. Our brains are so sneaky. We have to be on them all the time because that sounds so reasonable, doesn't it? Like, oh, I'm worried it's not going to be the right thing or good enough. So, okay, so I won't do anything. It's
Yeah,
your brain's way of keeping you safe. And just the minute you notice all these sneaky little ways that our brain has of keeping us safe, like it's actually performing a function that's not useful, but we have to see it for what it is. It's not you consciously doing it. Does that make sense? It's your brain's way of being like, okay, this sounds really hard. We might be unsafe. There might be danger. So I'm just going to come back here because it might not be good enough. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just about calling it, like seeing it for what it is and being like, okay, what if it is good enough? How would I ever find out unless I do it?
Oh, what a great question. Yes, love it. So, what's like a little maybe mini action plan, or like what kind of things can people do then if they're in this overwhelm, overthinking, very worn out state of is it good enough, right and wrong, who's going to buy it?
Mhm.
What's like a maybe a little action plan that we could give our audience?
So firstly, what's the next best thing? Like
Love it.
what's the next best step for me right now? Doesn't have to be a massive master plan. You do not have to plan a month's worth of content. Just break it down like you said, little baby steps. What's the next best thing? Second, don't expect to feel good. I think a lot of our problem with feeling overwhelmed and confused is because we're being given this narrative that you should be like in flow all the time. It's not reasonable or realistic. It doesn't exist. So just don't expect yourself to be in that state. And then thirdly, have a little backup plan of when you are really tired, but you do want to get stuff done, or you are overthinking, but you really want to get stuff done. Like, what are you saying to yourself in that moment? Are you being nice to yourself or are you being a bitch to yourself? Because sometimes we can just be a bitch to ourselves, not even noticing it
Yeah.
until we think, oh my god, I'm so tired out, I'm so exhausted. Is because there's this narrative been going on in our head about how worthless and crap we are because we feel tired. So that those are like the three things to focus on, and then knowing the difference, like you were saying earlier, between, okay, do I physically need to rest because I'm not about overworking at all, or is it just that my brain is like doing double time because I'm being a real bitch to myself and I'm overthinking everything? And just knowing the difference between when you
Yeah.
actually have to rest your body, and when you just need to be in charge of your brain a bit more.
I love that. It's super simple. Even as you were talking it through, I actually got a feeling of like relief and hope and like just like more lighter, exciting thoughts of like maybe this is possible. I could actually get shit done. Like, oh my
Yeah,
God. And then we let in our higher mind and she gets really creative and she can just like think of like, what if we just did this next thing then?
yeah,
So and I love higher mind. We just never let her speak as much as ego mind is just like in there like a clanging gong all the time with good reason to keep us safe, but there needs to be a little bit of balance here. We need higher minding a little bit more. So I think like having that creative side or whatever you want to call your soul, whatever it is, like let that part of you speak up a little bit as
yeah.
well because she's already
I love
got all
that.
the ideas.
Yeah, that's
Um,
so good. Oh, I love
yeah.
that.
Oh, really good. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's going to be super helpful for our
So
audiences.
welcome.
Can't wait to share this. I've already got a couple of people in mind that I'm going to send this to,
Oh, yay.
who are stuck. And it's shit when you feel stuck. So, like,
Yeah,
let's get you unstuck.
yeah,
Thank
I
you
love
so
it.
much. Where
You're
can
so
people
welcome.
find you, Meg, if they want to reach out and have a little look at what you do?
Yeah, so go to LinkedIn, on Meg Roundell-Green. You can just connect with me there, and yeah, you can contact me or just watch videos, and we can hang out there.
Lovely. Thank you
Thanks.
so much for your insight and sharing it and breaking it down and making it nice and simple.
You're
Thank
so
you.
welcome. So nice to
Thank
see you.
you. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Making Sales Simple, a podcast by Helen Tebay, the sales lady. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow me on Spotify for more.